Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you're watching this transmission. Guys, I'm trying to get this mic sorted. I got another new mic again. Here it is. And, who said that being a YouTuber was cheap? Anyways, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Lots going on. Mike in the Night Show has been an absolute hit. Lots of call-ins, lots of people inputting their points of views, and it's really good. We got people calling in from Australia, we have people calling from New Zealand, we have people calling in from Ontario, Canada, California. Last night we had a people calling from Hong Kong on the ground, giving us insight on what's going on. Really good. Join Mike in the Night live, and you can watch the replays here on the channel. Trends in the housing market, 3 years of trend forecasting for housing, and Can't Read Market Talk, newest one, and Morning Coffee with Mike, and Housing Crisis Talk, basically that's been going on for 7-8 years. That we've been in a housing crisis that long, people. And if you want to support this transmission, guys, please go on Patreon, $1 a month. I'm at 14 Patreons. You could be number 15 with $1 a month. All right, guys. Well, we got to look into the trade wars. God, we really need to look into this. This and what's happening in Hong Kong is going to send a ripple effect, a tsunami effect, a perfect storm through the financial markets, and you're going to see runoffs on banking systems. You're going to see runoffs, sell-offs on the stock markets. This could spell doom and gloom, and I'm not trying to be like AMTV, where like, yeah, man, you know, this and that, the world's gonna end in 3 hours, and like, I'm just trying to be like straight up, and like, I just want to get answers, right? Because there's somebody out there that knows. There's always somebody out there that knows something, right? Trade war. U.S. hits China with new wave of tariffs. So this is from today's date. Happy Labor Day weekend to all the people celebrating the labor workforce. The U.S. has imposed fresh tariffs on $112 billion, 92 billion pounds of Chinese imported goods, such as shoes and nappies and food. Food I could see, because we could get food locally. We don't need to get food in from China. You know what I'm saying? Why would we want to import food from China? It makes no sense. Okay, the new tariffs are a sharp escalation in the brushing trade war and could cost households $800 a year. The move in the first phase of U.S. President Donald Trump's latest plan to place 15% duties on $300 billion of Chinese imports by the end of the year. In response, Beijing introduced tariffs on U.S. crude oil, the first time fuel had been targeted. Now, here's the deal with that. The Chinese haven't been buying through the petrodollar anyway. The Chinese have been buying through Iran, Venezuela, Brazil, other means they're getting their fuel. So they're not buying through by the means of the U.S. petrodollar anyway, right? So if fully imposed, Mr. Trump's program would mean that nearly all Chinese imports worth about $550 billion would be subject to punitive tariffs. What was initially a dispute over China's allegedly unfair trade practices is increasingly seen as a geopolitical power struggle. A quick guide to the Chinese, there it is there, and the U.S.-China trade war in charts. Okay, so far, well, we've been following this for a while here on the channel. So far, Washington has imposed tariffs of some $250 billion of Chinese goods to pressure Beijing into changing its policies on intellectual property, industrial subsidies, market accesses, and the forced transfers of technology to Chinese firms. Beijing has constantly denied that it engages in unfair trade. Of course, China is always going to say they're not doing anything wrong, and has retaliated with tariffs on $110 billion of U.S. products. How do they differ from previous tariffs? So this is kind of important here. There's like 122 page list of eligible products, but this sums up, this 5 paragraphs here sum up what's really going on, okay? On the BBC Business from a business reporter standpoint. It's the American consumer who will bear the brunt on these fresh tariffs, unlike previous rounds, which have hit the manufacturing sector hard set. So if Walmart's going to pay more money to get their yo-yos or air fresheners for the house in, they're just going to pass that increase on to the consumer. That's just what's going to happen, right? Nappies, dishwashers, shoes, clothes, food. Looking through the 122 page of eligible products. Let's take a look at these. Wow. Live sheep, live goats, live chickens, live turkeys. Bovine meat cutters, high quality beef cuts. So it's got a lot to do with there's a lot of stuff here, guys. We could be here for hours looking at this. So this is list 4A effective of the 1st of September 2019. There it is, guys. Live ducks. Oh, man. So let's keep going here. Many retailers say they have little choice but to pass on the cost to shoppers. That's exactly what's going to happen here. The president of the American Apparel and Footwear Association, Rick, describes the tariffs as like punishing your daughter for something your son did. It makes no sense. The next round of tariffs on more clothes and big ticket items like laptops and iPhones are due in December. See, iPhone should have stayed in America and Canada. That's why a lot of people pretty much ditched the iPhone, right? iPhones are due in December. Donald Trump says this will help to protect spending during the Christmas season. Could be. By the end of the year, they'll be in place almost all of the $550 billion of goods that the U.S. buys every year from China. And that could add up to $800 to the average household's annual spend, according to Catherine Russ from the University of California. How has the industry reacted? This is kind of important. Businesses are finding it increasingly hard to navigate the uncertainty of the long-running trade dispute. Analysts say that, in the view of the latest escalation, the prospect of resolution looks grim. It's difficult, at this stage, to see how there can be a deal, or at least a good deal. Julian Evans, a senior China economist in capital economics, told the BBC. Since talks broke down back in May, the position of both sides has hardened, and there have been other complications, namely Huawei ban and Hong Kong protests, which have made it even more difficult to bridge the gap. Yeah. That's... it's pretty bad, guys. What is expected on the 1st of September? That's today, guys. Labor Day weekend. The U.S. is due to impose 15% tariff on $300 billion worth of Chinese goods by the end of the year in 2 rounds. The first round of duties comes into force from the 1st of September. Analysts expect those tariffs will target imports worth $150 billion. The Office of the United States Trade Representative would not clarify the value of goods due to be hit with tariffs this month. Products to be targeted in September range from the meat and cheese to pens and footwear, and 15% rate supersedes the 10% originally planned, and announced last week that as tensions between the two sides escalated. China has, oh my goodness, all these pop-ups. Stop with the pop-ups. Nobody cares about the stuff. Oh, there's my alarm. Oh, so two sides are escalating. China has retaliated with a 5% levy on crude oil, along with measures targeting $75 billion of U.S. goods. The measures include extra tariffs of 5% and 10% on nearly 1,717 targeted products. This is how the trade war escalated. So here's a little graph here showing you July 2018, U.S. tariffs $34 billion, China tariffs $34 billion. August 2018, $16 billion for China. September 2018, $200 billion at 10%, $60 billion at 10%. And May 2019, $200 billion at 25%. And China is $60 billion at 25%. So we're in the midst of a massive trade war, guys. It is getting out of control. it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get real ugly, and there's too much finger pointing. We need to come up with some sort of a deal, argumentatively, because the Americans need to create some sort of a job, more of a job. They need more industry to come back to America. They can't go with this green free, where the West has become more of servicing, banking sectors, credit cards. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Credit collection, working for credit collections. It's all in the service. It's all servicing. Fast food restaurants. You can't live off coffee shops. Perth right now in Australia is living off coffee shops, and it's not gonna work. It's not gonna fly, right? Mr. Trump has repeatedly argued that China pays for tariffs, but many U.S. companies have rebutted that claim. More than 200 footwear firms, including Nike, Converse, said the new duties would add existing tariffs up to 67% on some shoes, driving up costs for consumers by $4 billion each year. They say that incoming tariffs on footwear would also mean these massive tax increases hit tens of millions of Americans when they produce shoes during the holiday season. Guys, you telling me there's technologically wise we can't create something to make shoes locally and use less workforce? And okay, human labor is expensive. Okay, but what if we made it locally? What if we created shoes locally and it be less hands-on? I don't know, guys. I'm just throwing this out there. Just ideas. You know what I'm saying? The American Chamber of Commerce in China also voiced concerns after the U.S. said it was going ahead with new tariffs. Our members have long been clear that tariffs have paid consumers and harm business. It said in a statement, we urge that both sides work towards a sustainable argument as soon as possible that resolves the fundamental structural issues in foreign business have long faced in China. So what's next? Now here's the key part of this article. It's kind of important what next move gets played. We're on a chessboard right now. It's checkmate on both sides. Both sides are open for the next blow. Basically, both sides are already on the losing end. So, whose turn is it? And where are you going to move your knight or your rook? President Trump has said that trade terms for the U.S. and China are continuing to talk and will meet in September, but further details have not been publicly confirmed. From the 15th of December to the second phase of the 15% tariffs will be rolled out on the remainder of Chinese good not previously affected. This includes technology like phones and computers President Trump has sought to protect until now. On the same date, China will roll out its tariffs around 3,000 more on U.S. products. The Trump administration plans, in addition, to raise the rates on existing duties from 25% to 30% on the 1st of October. It's next month, guys. Mr. Evans from Capital Economy said that the rate could increase further still. The tariff rate could go all the way up to 45%. He said those are the goods that do most damage to China and the least collateral damage to the United States of America. For the U.S. and Chinese economies, analysts say that the pressure created by tariffs is also building. The full-blown trade war, together with China's retaliation in kind, could reduce the potential U.S. GDP growth in the short-term run almost 1%, says Gary Hufbauer of the Washington-based Peterson Institution for International Economics. The impact on China would be larger, as much as 5%. The USTR said until 20th of September it would be collecting public comments on the planned tariff increase to 30%. So this is a quick guide here to kind of give you a little insight. We just went through that. Oh, no, actually, here. Mr. Trump's tariffs policy aims to encourage consumers to buy American by making imported goods more expensive. This kind of worked in the 80s when Ronald Reagan launched that buy a car from your brother or buy local, keep local. So buy a locally built Detroit car, and you will keep your brother employed. That did work for a while. It did. There was this huge movement in America back in the 80s where they felt that they need to continue keeping their family, their brothers, their locals employed. You know what I'm saying? And we went through all of that there too. Guys, this is history in the making. The trade wars, Hong Kong, Middle East, the the uh, the Africa being taken apart. Um, I guess the recolonization of Africa. That the everything that's happening, the turmoil in the South America, Latin America, Central America, the look what's happening in Argentina. Look what's happening. Guys, we need to come. I think what's happening is we are phasing away from reality and starting to forget, and that's key. Because I'm seeing this next. I'm 41 years old now. When I was 15 and 20, things weren't so grim. When I was 15 and 20, we weren't having all these problems. You know. Now it's either social media got us more connected when it comes to finding out what's really happening through different points of views, or things are really, really getting bad. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is very important. This is crucial to what piece gets moved on the chessboard again. Let me see if I could find the... buy a car from your brother. Let me see. Bumper sticker. Let's see if that bumper sticker comes up. I still remember seeing that from the Reagan administration. No, I don't see it. It used to be an old bumper sticker. Leave a link below in the comments if you see it, guys. I'd like to know if it's just a guy looks like he's like working on a car and saying, buy local, keep local, you know. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and happy Labor Day weekend.